Deep in the underground, halfway down to hell, in the dark, a low fading light flickers and casts twisted nightmare shadows against long steel appendages, cables, and wires sticking out in a splintering web across the rocky walls of the collapsed mineshaft. Overhead, crumbled wooden supports crisscross in a lattice, barely holding back hundreds of tons of gravel and rock. With the bolts and braces bent and broken, the great oak beams creak and groan, waiting for any slight movement to bring them crashing down on the few remaining survivors. Starving and freezing in the filthy, confined pocket of space, the group of three work-hardened men sit cowering in their corners. All around them, the horrid, rotting odor of decay reeks from the corpses of those who were fortunate enough to have been crushed to death in the opening moments of chaos. Their endless cries of relentless anguish have long since ceased. The silence that remains is interrupted only by the coughing and hacking of dust-filled lungs and throats, bringing slick blood and mucus to spill from their dry, blackened lips, the metallic taste accumulating in their mouths along the grainy, sand-like texture of thick dust between the teeth. A cold, itching sweat is secreted from every pore on their weak, bony bodies, coating their skin in a dry sheen of peeling film as it dries. The horrific scene is barely visible by the light cast by a single lantern, the only one still intact enough to be used. The glass is cracked and covered in grime, adding strange streaks and blotches to the shadows it casts. 7 weeks running its toll on the kerosene, now reduced to just a quarter of a tank. There's only a few precious moments of light left. But for the moment, it illuminates the walls of their soon-to-be grave and the stony expressions on their faces with a red glare. The fatigued diggers look on in a wary, paranoid daze at their brothers, each fearful of the hunger lingering in the other's eyes, and of the picks in their own raw, blistered hands. Around them lay the bare, yellow bones of those who starved before them, picked clean and snapped, their marrow drained. Among the dead are friends and strangers alike, though the superintendent had been the first to go when the rations ran dry 4 weeks prior. Unlike food, water supply is of no concern. Continuously supplied by the damp, moist soil, mixed with coal dust and soot forming a sludge-like ooze seeping from the cracks in the floors and walls. It shines like a thick, greasy blood in the soft glow of the fire, now just a faint glimmer. The lantern sputters as the flow of kerosene is reduced to a slow drip. They all watch in indifference as the spark is silently extinguished, along with whatever hope they had been clinging to. Lost in the prisons of their minds, even more so than in their inevitable coffin of sulfur and stone.